With European influence, last time we talked about Native Americans was like August. So, yeah. So, with European influence, the Plains Indians, which we're going to be talking about today, they're going to have rifles and horses incorporated into their culture. And this is going to change hunting buffalo from, scaring them off cliffs into now being able to chase and shoot the buffalo down. Yeah.
Wouldn't that make it bad having them fall that far?
No.
It's like
No, it's already pre-tenderized, right?
Oh.
Okay. I like that. Jesse laughed at that. I finally got a good laugh out. That's good. And so that's how this now works. Is they're now chasing and shooting the buffalo, which now makes them more mobile. Prior to horses and rifles, they're actually static tribes. Now they're going to become nomadic. Now, how is that going to be seen, though, in American eyes, Native Americans who are nomadic and constantly moving?
Threat.
What's that?
A threat.
Do you see them as a threat, though? How do they look, though, civilization-wise, if they're constantly moving?
They're expanding.
What's that?
They're expanding.
They're not actually expanding. We're missing the point here.
They don't have the land, so you can just take it.
Well, there's that part for sure, right? They have no concept of land ownership. So America's like, oh, this is easy, right? Okay. Part two is, if all you saw is people living very lean lifestyles, do they see them as having strong civilization? They're going to see them as basically inferior people. If you know anything about basically the main characteristics of civilization, you need to have cities, you need to have specification of labor and things like that, and a basically primary location. If they're constantly moving, they aren't actually seen as a civilization in most people's eyes. Yes?
They're supposed to be better than
Where?
bottom.
for Dan farming.
Oh, yeah, damn. We'll fix that now. Yeah, it's a pretty common thing. At least you know it. Yeah.
You only have to go to
There's the Spanish.
Now, pre-European, okay, this is all the tribes. We're gonna be focusing on the Sioux Nation, okay? And for review, those tribes out there, that would be where the Trail of Tears came from, okay? These tribes are now moved into this region we now know as Oklahoma, okay? So these people are now moved up here. And the Sioux Nation, we're gonna kind of focusing on. Yes, sir?
Where do the Mohawks live?
What's that?
The Mohawks?
Mohawk is right here with the Seneca, with the Seneca and the Iroquois Confederacy. Yes, which yes, they did actually have Mohawks, but no, they weren't pink and had like, piercing their nose and went to, punk rock concerts. Okay, yeah. Back when Hot Topic was just emo. Yeah, those were the days. Those are the days. I'm hoping that was recorded. That was definitely recorded. All right, so since really the 1700s, buffalo becomes their primary way of life. They're hunting buffalo just enough to maintain their civilization, realizing that you can overhunt buffalo.
You gave me gun.
Yeah, top part. Native Americans are using everything off of the buffalo, including using their intestine for thread and things like that. So I mean, they're literally using everything off the buffalo.
So they use for after you get your wisdom teeth out.
What's that?
They use like pig intestines after you get your wisdom teeth out for the
Right.
stitches.
That's good.
I was gonna say for the longest time, violins were strung with cat gut. If you didn't know. Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's
Yep.
gross.
Does anyone play drums?
I can play drums.
Okay.
I dabble.
The snares on the snare drum used to be cat gut.
Oh,
For the longest time, they were cat gut.
Wait, that doesn't make,
yeah, it does.
What's that?
no, the snare is usually a metal wiring.
It
Yeah.
is now.
we used to
It
play
used
drums
to be.
together in
It used to be
How would
cat
it
gut.
make noise?
What's that?
How would that
It's
make
more of a muffled snare back then.
Who else was it? Ruby? Was that the other one?
And also of it being constantly tightened, by the drum heads.
Me and you.
It used to be by the
Yeah,
boat,
tomorrow can
to make the cut.
do threat body with it.
His own drug.
When I was, I think from the age of 11 to 15, I was a part of the Camp Chase Fife and Drum Corps. Look us up, we had albums.
Really?
Yep,
Camp Chase?
Camp Chase Fife and Drum.
We had to write down how many like hours we did.
F-I-F.
We get those things.
Fife is, it's a small flute.
Camp Chase, first thing stood up, right up.
There you go. Not lying.
Shop for music.
Be a drummer?
Yeah. Yep.
Were you like,
Oh my god.
Yeah, we're kind of a real deal.
How, yeah.
So scared.
So, population just before the Civil War, Americans are in the red zones, okay? The other zones controlled by both, they treated Guadalupe Hidalgo, best treaty ever, okay? The guys who purchased, and then Louisiana Purchase still needs to be populated. And so during the Civil War, this is really weird, during the Civil War, Lincoln, thinking the war was gonna be ending soon, passes two major pieces of legislation to populate the Midwest. These two are going to be the Homestead Act and Pacific Railroad Act. Don't get these down, we're gonna go to them in a second, okay? So the first one, Homestead Act, let's get this down. Yes. So the Homestead Act says this, between 1863, January 1, same time as the Emancipation Proclamation, so you kind of get the context here, all the way to 1873, you got 10 years to do this, you could go anywhere in the Midwest that does not have American citizens, plot out 160 acres, and you only had to pay $1.25 an acre. Now, back then, an acre of land is approximately $100 out east. So you're getting it for 1% of the market value.
Why'd they do it?
What's that?
Why'd they make it only one?
Because they wanted to populate that area as quickly as possible. And they also wanted to make it cheap for everyone. So basically, whatever you could pay, and up to 160 acres, you could get. So if you wanted just 10 acres, go for it. If you want all 160, go for it. Here's the best part. No property tax with this Homestead Act. So people still today have the original document from their ancestors of this being Homestead Act land. Therefore, they don't have to pay the property tax.
Wow.
I mean, it's
Still?
great, still.
Pretty
It's
dope.
pretty killer.
Should be,
Where?
and,
Oh. This is from my, this is from my
From
pre-editing
full
days.
for
so is
all
it like
that
really
lunch
old
yesterday.
documents or do they have to get?
Yeah, I'm gonna show you one.
Yeah, it's in a few.
what volume are you in this done for?
What's that?
What volume are you on? Like, name a song that you played.
Oh, a whole bunch of them. Gary Owen, Yankee Doodle, Battle Cry of Freedom, Grandfather's Clock, Owl Creek, Girl I Left Behind.
Pretty good.
What's that?
Pretty good.
I'd say I was good. I wouldn't say I was one of the top drummers there. I mean, some of the guys actually went professional, went to Wings, and were part of their drum corps. They were-
Do they get paid?
What's that?
Anybody make a lot of money?
Not really. It's basically like a couple of albums.
But they're doing what they
There's a
love.
lot of volume, I don't see any of these. There's echoes from the past, above the clouds, the Civil War.
Above the clouds.
None from Echo of the Past. All right, does everyone have this down? We good? We good? Yep, okay. So here's what they look like. Literally, they were filing forms. And of course, federal forms, you had to pay $10 to do it, okay? But basically, all you did was, you said approximately where you're at, how much acreage, and you're good to go. Okay? And then, here's the catch. Within a 10-year period, if you find this form, you had to have a house or some type of way of improving the property within a 10-year period, okay? What a lot of people did, especially people who had some money, is what they would do is they'd get every family member to buy 160 acres, buy it up, put a house on it, wait 20 years, and then sell for a huge profit. playing the game. Here's another one of the forms. Okay. And people are making approximately 750,000, yes,
Hey, is this second or third period?
this is definitely third period.
Sweet. Does
Yeah.
anyone know,
PM schedule.
okay. Does anyone know what Walmart's classes go?
Hello?
No, oh,
Yeah,
okay.
it's Clifford.
Alright, yeah.
Oh, yes.
Last one of you.
Can't find it.
Hello?
Black and white.
Because it's black and white.
I got an 80, bro.
Oh, this is, this is
What'd you get?
ring group.
I think you get 60.
Basically.
I did. Bodies are being
So, the other one that happens here is Pacific Railroad Act. This is making the Transcontinental Railroad. Come on, guys. Focus, focus. Alright, so 1862, Congress is going to pass, again, during the Civil War, they're going to pass the Transcontinental Railroad. It's gonna go from Omaha, Nebraska to Sacramento, California. What this is going to do, this is really important, they're going to cut down the danger of moving out west. So instead of you selling your life belongings, traveling 6 months, hoping you don't die, of course, if you're playing Oregon Trail, dysentery, okay? You can now get on a train for $100, and within 10 days, you go from Nebraska to Sacramento on a train. Boom. It's long, but it's much less than 6 months. Fair, right? You're also, you know, get yourself a nice seat, you get to have dinner on the train, etc., etc. Make a nice stop, go to a nice hotel, you know, all that good stuff. Now, though it gets signed in legislation by '62, the work does not start until June of '65 because they had to map out where they're going to go. So they map out how they're going to do this trip, the trail, and then in '65 they're going to get a whole bunch of basically Civil War veterans, free African Americans, and the western portion of the railroad is going to import 25,000 Chinese people to work on the railroad. Now, why are Chinese people wanting to go into the United States? Anyone know what's happening in China in the 1860s?
Civil War.
Close. It's not good. Anyone know what country takes over China?
Japan doesn't ban it?
No, that would be World War II.
Isn't it not until April? Who is it? The people that came in and.
That's the 1470s, or no, 1370s. What's that?
Russia?
No.
Thailand, North Korea.
Ireland.
Yes, Ireland. They're like, hey, we're gonna take the whole line. We're gonna have to eat the fingers and mash. No, that's not how it works.
Yes, we all know China's favorite beer is Guinness, right?
Yeah.
I
No.
might actually.
So Switzerland's been nuclear.
Australia.
Great Britain.
Australia.
Saudi Arabia.
Great Britain's gonna take them over, okay? And they're gonna force them to give up all the major Chinese ports off their east coast. And Britain is going to forcibly buy and sell out of China opium, which is the derivative of both Vicodin and heroin. And so China has to fight these people off, known as the Opium Wars. So China's literally losing their minds, okay, with heroin and opium problems. And what they decide to do is many of these Chinese people who want to get out of this awful situation, they're going to move to the United States.
Did they go across the Pacific?
Yes. Yes, they do. It is.
Further than the Atlantic?
So basically, they contract out these Chinese families to go across the United States to make this railroad. And to basically show their citizenship, they're going to work really diligently to hopefully, if they do well, get their citizenship.
Are they like cheap labor?
That's the other part, cheap labor, yeah. Yeah. They're basically half of what people in the Central Pacific are making.
All of them, or just
Just the Chinese. So Americans are getting paid this, Chinese getting paid this, yeah. But Chinese, because of where they're at prior, this is still an upgrade, yeah. Go ahead.
So, we always talk about.
Gentlemen, focus here. I don't care whose phone it is. Stop.
What?
Okay.
We always talk about like the Atlantic Ocean and how like the trades are going through there and stuff. But like, I've never once talked about the first person to travel from the Pacific Ocean to like the West Coast.
First person to go from the Pacific, basically the West Coast into China, his name is, and it's not the actor, Matthew Perry. Matthew Perry, Oliver Hazard Perry's brother, goes from the Pacific to China to make the first trade deal with China.
How'd they
And this is
know?
in 1848. And then what happens is the United States is trading with them peacefully up to the Civil War. And then after the Civil War, Chinese immigrants are then gonna start coming into San Francisco, going off a different immigration island. We always think of like New York with Ellis Island. San Francisco has an island called Angel Island, same concept, just in San Francisco.
Well, how did Matthew Perry know that that was gonna be China?
Because of all the other maps, like all the other maps, and cause remember, most of Asia has been mapped out, really since the,
Yeah, but if you
Europeans
can't see across
like
that ocean, what if there's like more land that he just ran?
well, using an astroglobe, which basically goes off of the stars, and then also using sextants, you can basically know exactly what latitude, longitude goes.
Sorry. I got more about Africa.
You're welcome. Alright, so, Chinese are gonna start in Sacramento and work their way to Utah. The African American free slave, Union Confederate veterans are gonna start in Nebraska, and they're gonna work their way into Utah. This is where, if you watched the movie yesterday, Ulysses S. Grant drives in the gold spike in Utah and creates the Transcontinental Railroad. Okay, so thank you, Charlie Brown, alright? Some of the mythology out west that we talk about a lot that people do not understand are two things. Get this down, the Pony Express and cowboys. Could be wrong. Beef.
Yeah, it's the same thing.
Yeah, it was.
It's not.
Alright, so, two things that people always talk about that's not actually a thing. Pony Express, the idea basically, you had people by horse delivering mail out west of California, lasted for approximately 13 months. And then it failed. Two problems. One, it goes bankrupt. Two, the whole Civil War thingy, okay? So because of this, Pony Express, though it's a cool idea, and though it has a mural on the 8th Street post office, it really only lasts a year. The other one is cowboys. Cowboys were people on horseback that moved cattle from Texas, Oklahoma, into railroad stations in Kansas and Nebraska. Here's the spoiler alert. The majority of cowboys, as we know it, people moving cattle from south to north, are black people. Overwhelmingly, most cowboys, as they're called, were African American. They're basically free slave people who are gonna move out west and basically say, I'll do any job. Well, do you wanna live outside for 3.5 months moving cattle all day? How much does it pay? $1,500 a year? Yes, okay? That's triple of what the average person's making. And so that's how African American people are really getting their start. As a lot of people are getting out of sharecropping, moving out west, and becoming cattle drivers. Pretty cool.
Is there any bias towards
What's that?
African Americans in the mines?
Initially, but basically out west, because it's a dangerous environment, if you can do the job, we don't care what you look like. Just get it done. This is also why women are seen as more equals out west, and this is why women get voting rights much earlier by state elections out west than out east, is because, again, pioneer life. Everyone's gotta work hard to survive out here, therefore, women are getting more equal rights. Yes. Barbed wire, this is just something for me to remember. Barbed wire ruins cattle drives, because prior to that, people could go anywhere, feed these cattle off people's land, and keep moving. The other thing that would happen is cattle drives would also cause people to try to steal the cattle. And so you actually had range wars, where basically these guys had to be ready at all times to get into a gunfight with bandits, who'd either try to break up the herd, or try to steal cows in the middle of the night. So I mean, there's literally like off and on skirmish warfare going on because people are trying to steal these cows. Pretty crazy. Barbed wire, basically fencing in people's property, is going to ruin this because they have to get this large herds of cattle, I mean, we're talking thousands, into these smaller and smaller areas because they're getting penned off by barbed wire. And eventually, cowboys will stop being able to do that, and they'll have to go to basically smaller drives because more railroads appear. So again, cowboys, as we know it, only lasts about 15 years, but the Stetson hat still lives on.
So every Clint Eastwood movie is wrong.
Yeah, there should be a lot more black people in it, basically. Yeah, it's pretty interesting. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, and by the way, the things cowboys wear are called chaps, not chaps. Chaps. Everyone say it.
Chaps.
Chaps, not chaps.
What are those?
What's that? Chaps or chaps?
Chaps.
Chaps are basically leather things that go around your leg to stop having like bruising and also from chafing on horseback all day. Okay. Chaps are what bikers wear to look cool.
They look awesome. Especially the ones with the strings that you
Why called assless chaps?
Well, to be honest with you, all chaps are.
Yeah, I know, but
Yeah.
people say there's chaps and there's assless chaps.
Basically, the idea of the other version is literally there are circles cut out
Okay.
in the butt
For the cheeks.
for the cheeks. Because in the 70s, because of the village people, the biker version of the village, that village version, they wanted to dress like him, and to promote their sexuality, they decided to show it off by cutting circles.
Do they look more pants underneath?
Correct.
So just cheeks hanging out.
That'd be so funny.
They're really comfortable.
I like so much.
Anyways, moving right along. Ian, I hope you're enjoying that last tangent.
I can get this down, all three parts. So the Indian removal happens with Jackson, and basically things kind of chill out after the Black Hawk War of 1830s into the 1850s. The Fort Laramie Treaty of 1850 is going to end that war and put Native Americans in their own regional reservations. So more or less what we're talking about here is wherever your tribe is at or migrates to, that's where your land will be, and the contract is basically Native Americans stay there, Americans will go around it, and everything will be fine and dandy. The catch here is this: when you're going through the West, is there a sign that says, now coming into Sioux territory? No, okay? So that's the major problem here is Americans are going to settle in these Native American territories not knowing any better, and when this Native American people who don't speak English come at you and say, you're not supposed to be here, and you shoot at them, well, they're going to shoot back at you. And this becomes kind of a continuous problem. The Cheyenne tribe is going to be pinned into this reservation that they don't agree with, and after a couple combats that happened during the Civil War, another thing not talked about is Lincoln's actually moving Native Americans out west. Is in Colorado, there is what's known as the Sand Creek Massacre. Now, the American press makes this sound like a battle. The reality here is this: the cavalry that is having the Cheyenne surrender at their fort are drunk. And so when the Cheyenne go to surrender, instead of having these people go into the fort, they surround the entire group of people and kill 900 of them out of the 1,100. Okay? Including women and children. The chief is shot 37 times. His wife is shot in the back 9 times and survives. She's the original 50 Cent.
Wait, took the chief 37 shots?
What's that?
They took the chief 37 shots?
No. They probably just after
He was dead and
wanted
wanted
to. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Gotta make sure he's.
Nine, did the shit of Dynamite from
No, she actually survived for like 10 more years. Pretty impressive.
Did they get the bullets out of her?
What's that?
Did they get the bullets out of her?
I don't know.
Like something
How do you She must be muscular.
My favorite Union veteran picture is a guy who literally has a bullet scar here. And he's living. The guy is freaking living. Serious, I'll have to show it to you later in class. What's that?
I see a video on Twitter of the dude pushing a bullet out of his shoulder.
He might actually be the original.
There's like a bullet in his shoulder, and he goes like this, and he like presses on it,
Let me see if I can find it.
and eventually it just falls out.
Is it constantly?
Keep going. I'll jump off. I'll jump off.
Alright. Gallery, get out.
I don't make the rules.
Okay, ready for this? Here we go. Guy who is shot in head survives war.
Oh, I've seen that before.
That's weird.
That's